Please keep this economic system of debt and economic imperialism in mind as we journey into the very lucrative and profitable world of climate change. Whenever the media or politicians discuss climate change, they always stick to a pre-planned script with certain keywords, which they continuously repeat in an effort to program the minds of the masses into thinking the way they want them to think. One of the phrases which they will repeat over and over is that this is the hottest year on record. On record. Remember the term on record. It will all make sense in a few minutes. You see, the phrase on record only references the last 150 years of climate data. If one looks at that graph, the temperature is indeed increasing. But 150 years is just a small fraction of the total time man has been on the earth. Let us look beyond 150 years for a clearer perspective on how temperatures on earth have always fluctuated over time. Furthermore, the earth itself is far older than man. God created the earth long before he had created Adam. In fact, God commanded Adam to replenish the earth, which indicates that before Adam there was a population of beings on the earth, and knowing the righteousness of God, that population had been judged and wiped out of existence for their unrepentant iniquity. And Adam was their replacement, whom God commanded to populate the earth once again. So the graph which shows temperatures which fluctuate continuously over thousands of years is taken away and replaced with a graph which shows temperatures escalating over the last 150 years. This can also be understood by looking at the stock market. If you look at the trading activity of just one day, you would think that the market is going to crash at any moment. But if you back up and look at the entire market over an extended period of time, you can see that the market has actually been improving and that there's no cause for fear. This is just an example, not a prediction of the future of the actual stock market. So climate change is happening. It's just that what the mainstream media will not tell you is that this climate fluctuation has been taking place over and over for thousands of years. When Pharaoh starts using his media to talk about science and why the world should see things his way, you need to know that you are being set up for total economic enslavement. Climate change means more profits for them, but it means slavery for you. You'll be charged for exhaling carbon dioxide. You'll be charged more for what they will call excessive movement or too much travel. You'll be charged for eating too much meat or eating meat at all. You will be charged for using extra electricity even though you already pay for your electricity. Your carbon footprint will be measured and calculated, and you will be charged accordingly. A carbon footprint is defined as the total amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, that are generated by our actions as human beings. The climate change agenda will make the super rich even super richer. Your personal footprint includes emissions from a variety of sources: your daily commute, the food you eat, the clothes you buy, everything you throw away, and more. The larger your footprint, the heavier the strain on the environment, they say. So they are placing more value on the earth and less value on humanity, and using humanity's way of life to impose oppressive policies which are designed to completely subjugate and enslave humanity to a financial system that was first implemented by Pharaoh, king of Egypt, in an effort to reduce the population and use the resources and the people, as in the children of Israel, as a means to build cities for Pharaoh. And the pretext for this satanic agenda is saving the world or saving the environment. This will all be made possible through technology. They will track your every move. Your freedoms and civil liberties are being taken away while you watch.
At Billion Consumers, we're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Notice how they call all human beings consumers. They have no respect for humanity. To them, all a human being is a consumer, almost like a rodent or an insect. Furthermore, the science behind their strategy to charge the whole of humanity money for living and breathing is also suspicious. PayPal founder Peter Thiel explains their science a bit better in this clip.
You use science. When you use the word science, it's often a tell, like in poker, that you're bluffing and that no science at all is going on. And so we have political science, we have social science, we don't have physical science or chemical science. They're just physics and chemistry. There's no debate.
Library science.
And so if you think about other areas where people use the word science excessively, I think those are areas that we should perhaps be a lot more skeptical of.
In 1974, Time magazine actually published an article about another ice age where they claimed that the climate scientists had actually discovered evidence that the Earth was cooling and that we could be entering into another ice age. Then 1 year later, Newsweek publishes an article called The Cooling World, calling it science. The whole world was supposed to be frightened into believing that we would starve to death because the world was going to get too cold. And now, just a few years later, the scientific world is headed in the complete opposite direction. All it took was a few random scientists and former US Vice President Al Gore, and suddenly the news are full of stories about heat waves and droughts and powerful hurricanes. They threatened that the food supply would deteriorate and worldwide starvation would be the result, and that humanity was on the brink of annihilation, and if we did not do what they said, we'd all be dead. You see, if you keep on telling the public that you are going to suffer and die, suffering and death will enter into their minds and hearts, and then suffering and death will manifest itself. Not because suffering and death was actually coming, but because mankind had been meditating on the idea of suffering and death until the event actually came to pass. If man believes in his own destruction, he will manifest the destruction on himself. Man will have what man believes. The primary product being sold to humanity here is fear. Fear itself can produce a climate over man that can bring man into a state of self-destruction. Fear is perverted faith.